That's right. Lab tests show that Michael Vick may have indeed smoked pot, and he is landing in more hot water. It's going to alter the period leading up to his sentencing in December.
That's right. Well, joining us now is Mercedes Colwin, Fox News legal analyst, and David Schwartz, a defense attorney. So what is your reaction to this? He comes out, tests positive for marijuana. What is this going to do to his sentencing? What will it mean?
I don't think it should affect the sentencing at all. I mean, the marijuana has nothing to do with the charges that he's facing. It's really not, it's not blatant. You know, he went out, his career has completely fallen apart, so he smoked some pot during a period of time where he's nervous. It's really not that big of a deal.
David, I think the judge is going to be so angry. The judge is already angry. They said, we released you. We gave you specific requirements. You did not fulfill it. I think it's going to come up in the sentencing.
Now, his co-defendant is already sitting behind bars.
Right.
Sure. Also found that he had been smoking pot, too.
Yeah, but again, you know, I understand what you're saying, Mercedes, but really, and the judge may take it into account, but my personal opinion is he shouldn't take it into account. Here's a guy, his career is completely fallen apart. You know what? Most criminal defendants are drug users.
Let's take your logic, though. If the judge didn't take it seriously, what about all the others? They were going to say, look, they let him go because it's Michael Vick. There were specific requirements. You know this.
There's a million others, though.
There are others, but he violated it.
And it's people test positive all the time. It's
that's a good point, David. Anyone who's going through a rough time, you can, if you're watching, smoke some pot.
I
love your line. We understand.
You know, it's not my thing. But you know what? Whatever. He smoked a little. It's not the crime of the century. Let's move on.
But he could literally be put away right now for it if the judge wanted to, right?
The judge could rule that he violated the terms of his probation, and technically he could be put away.
But that's true. That's why he's in house arrest instead, which I think was an accommodation for him, because you're absolutely right, Heather. He could have been in jail just like the co-defendant.
And Mercedes, I was shocked to hear 48 hours ago to find out the state wants in on this. They want to put charges in, and isn't this overkill? 1 to 4 years, federal charges.
Right.
Do you fault Billy Martin for not going to the state and saying, look, we're cutting a deal with the feds. Make sure, I don't want you coming in tomorrow and tell me you want charges too.
We're definitely Monday night quarterbacking. I think that it may have been more prudent for him to make that call, to make those overtures to the state. A lot of defense attorneys do that because there could be many other federal practitioners go and reach out to the state. Look, we're making this deal. But like Dave and I were talking about, we were saying in the green room, this isn't something it's extraordinarily unusual. We think it might be because he's Michael Vick.
I don't fault Billy Martin at all. He couldn't have possibly have seen this coming along. It is ridiculous. The state charges, this is unheard of. The state charges never come after.
But it's happening. And what does it mean?
It's happening. It means that he's facing another prosecution. They could use the allocution that he made in the federal case against him in the state case. It's outrageous that this prosecutor is doing. He's trying to make a name for himself. You couldn't have imagined. How many other dog cases does this prosecutor? I'd like to know how many dog cases, cruelty to animal cases, this prosecutor is prosecuting besides this case.
But you know what? Good practice, make those overtures to the state. That's what you do. When you have a federal case, you have to know, are there other charges that are going to be brought against your client? Because David's absolutely right. All these admissions come in. I mean, basically, he's going to say, Michael Vick's going to be on the stand, and it's going to be, didn't you agree to this? Or didn't you plead guilty to this? It's going to go one line after the other, and who's not going to convict him at that point? Of course he will. There's no defense.
What do you two think is going to happen?
I think he'll do about 1.5 years. I think that's a year. A year is logical in my mind.